Hello, it's me. So today we're going to have a quick look at the impending theatre that is World War III. Yeah, let's have a look and see what the BBC have to say about it.
Has warned Washington of irreparable consequences if the US becomes directly involved in Israel's military campaign against Tehran. It's understood that President Trump is considering joining the attacks on Iran's nuclear sites. Here's our diplomatic correspondent, Caroline Hawley.
For a sixth straight night, Israel kept up its unprecedented assault on Iran. These images, captured by an Iranian television station, show air defenses in action above Tehran, trying to stop incoming Israeli fire. This is a building hit in the capital. We don't know the exact target, but Israel says that overnight it hit a university linked to Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guards, as well as facilities linked to its missile and nuclear program. These satellite images show a military base in Tabriz in the northwest of the country, here before and here after it was struck.
Well, that looks pretty decisive.
Donald Trump, who left a meeting of G7 leaders early, has called for Iran's unconditional surrender and is reported to be considering joining Israel's strikes on its nuclear facilities. He's described
personally,
the
I hope they
country's
don't,
supreme leader as an easy target.
We'll say, I suppose.
Now, a defiant response from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, his words read out by a presenter on state-run TV. Iranians,
Because no doubt he's in a bunker somewhere.
Surrender, and any form of US military intervention would be met with what he called irreparable harm. For civilians in Tehran, these are terrifying times. Shops shut, quiet streets. Many people
It looks
are holed
quite
up
lovely
at home,
over there, doesn't it?
hiding, we're told, in basements and garages. Many others have already fled the capital, among them Narges Mohammadi, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, who spent many years in Iran's jails.
Yeah, terrible.
I witnessed horrendous attacks. They're hitting infrastructure, a lot of civilian deaths. We have a misogynist theocracy in Iran, with the supreme leader Ali Khamenei on the top, who took us to hell.
A misogynist theocracy. I mean, that's just terrifying, isn't it? You know, women as second, third-class citizens, whatever, no rights. And she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. It's often struck me as I was, growing up about these caste systems, socially speaking, and, how many Einsteins and Teslas have been oppressed, suppressed, repressed because of the social circumstances they grew up in. Just never to find an outlet for their talent. Terrible, really.
Whilst promising heaven. And at the same time now, Netanyahu is also taking us to hell.
Iran is still firing at Israel,
That's
but
true.
not at the same rate as before.
War is hell.
Overnight, missiles were intercepted over Tel Aviv. Some limited damage reported, but no more casualties.
I've watched that frame just then of Israel and the rockets going up, the Iron Dome doing its thing. All of the feeds that I've seen are, quite sort of like rough, frankly. The bit rate isn't very good. They're just like webcams you get from anywhere else in the world. And yet somehow the BBC's managed to get a bit of footage which makes it look like an anime game. That shot of Israel on the Iron Dome looks quite beautiful. Is that on purpose? Is there an agenda?
In Cyprus, 2 repatriation flights were laid on to bring Israelis stranded abroad back home. Nobody knows how long the war will go on for, how it might escalate or end. And so many Iranians and foreign nationals are escaping Iran if they can. This, the border with Pakistan.
I mean, these poor
but
people
many
just,
others are trapped where they are,
trying not to get killed.
Afraid of what could come next. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
Well, in a moment, we'll speak with our Middle East correspondent, Hugo Bechega, who's in Jerusalem this lunchtime. But first to our North America correspondent in Washington, Nomia Iqbal. And Nomia, the war of words is ramping up. Here we are on day 6. But what exactly do we know about America's intentions? How far will they go? Well, the world is waiting to see what President Trump will do next. We've not had any reaction from the White House so far. There's been no flurry of social media posts from him like we saw yesterday, although that could happen at any moment. There are reports that the US is leaning towards involvement rather than diplomacy, and that would involve sending US troops to the region to use those bunker buster bombs to destroy Iran's nuclear capabilities deep underground. But make no mistake, if that is what the US does, it is a profoundly defining moment of Trump's presidency, seismic. This is a man who has long campaigned for no foreign wars, attacked Barack Obama, accusing him of trying to start a war with Iran, and only back in May.
I think Trump, even though I'm not much of a fan, is the shot in the arm America needs right now. I don't think he's a warmonger at all. He wants customers. He wants deals done. He wants money to be made. And when people are making money, they're happy. And I think that's a truth that he understands. Where there's a flourishing economy, where there's money changing hands freely within that economy, who needs war? So I think from that perspective, he's the right man for America right now.
Said in Saudi Arabia that the era of foreign intervention was over. So lots of his supporters will be saying, what happened to that man? Could there be regime change? Well, Donald Trump also said yesterday, threatened to potentially kill the supreme leader. So we just don't know what could happen next. And bear in mind, if the US does get involved, how could Iran react to it? Again, we don't know, and it could put the US in a very, very dangerous moment. Nomia, thank you. Well, let's get the picture then from Jerusalem. Our correspondent Hugo Bechega is there. On the ground, Hugo, how will these words have been received, and what's the latest on the conflict from that perspective?
Yeah, Dina, so Israel has continued to attack Iran. The military said more than 50 planes hit about 20 targets across Tehran overnight, including weapons production facilities. And on the ground in Iran, we've seen those huge traffic jams of residents trying to flee the city, Tehran, because of fears of an escalation of this conflict. Shortages of petrol and food are being felt. Also, some cash machines are not working. So this is the impact on the population there. Now, in Israel, as Caroline said, there was a wave of attacks, 2 waves actually, of Iranian missile attacks overnight. The Iranians said they had used for the first time a hypersonic missile, which is a missile that is more difficult to be intercepted by air defenses, but there have been no reports of casualties. And we're seeing that the recent attacks haven't been as intense, which is probably an indication of the impact of these Israeli airstrikes on the Iranian military. And just moments ago, the Israeli government announced that some of the restrictions that had been imposed because of the war are now being eased. There will be limited gatherings are now being allowed, but crucially, schools and
the war ending, or is this a new stage of the war?
Closed. But this is an indication that the Israeli authorities believe that the threat coming from Iran has diminished.
Okay, Hugo, in Jerusalem, thank you.
Wouldn't it be great if behind the scenes Iran just capitulates to Israel and it's done and dusted? That'd be great. However, I don't think I can finish the video without bringing up what that scientist who'd won the Nobel Peace Prize had said about living under a misogynistic theocracy. I don't back regime change. I think countries should be left to do their own thing. People can be generally quite happy with certain restrictions on them, and if they've grown up that way and there's an overriding a religious imperative, religion, what can you say? Again, I'm not in favor of that. I think people should be allowed to be who they are. Now, as I said, with regards to regime change, you could save a lot of women, couldn't you? You could free up a lot of people. Maybe there are Teslas and Einsteins waiting to be discovered over there, and they won't be able to be discovered under the current regime that they live under. Every cloud has a silver lining, I suppose. But personally, I would just love it if everyone stopped killing each other. So I've, wished the Jews, and by which I mean the people on the streets, the people who are just having to suffer with all of this. I wish the Jews and the Muslims the best of luck in the, in the time to come. So, this is me signing off. Until next time, take care of yourselves.